Some SUVs may look impressive on the outside, but behind the flashy marketing, they hide terrible reliability, high maintenance costs, and major mechanical issues. If you are considering buying a new SUV, these 7 models should be avoided at all costs, unless you want to waste thousands on repairs and constant headaches. Let's dive into the worst offenders. Volkswagen Tiguan. At first glance, the Volkswagen Tiguan seems like a great compact SUV, offering a stylish design and decent cargo space. But under the hood, this vehicle is a nightmare waiting to happen. The biggest issue? Horrible reliability. The transmission is notorious for early failures, and the electrical system is filled with gremlins that cause random malfunctions. Many owners have reported expensive repairs before even hitting 60,000 miles, making the Tiguan a high-risk purchase. On top of that, the fuel economy is below average for the class, and the interior materials feel cheap compared to competitors. Why it's terrible? Transmission problems, electrical issues, and costly repairs make it one of the worst compact SUVs. But what if you think upgrading to a more rugged SUV will save you? Think again, because our next pick has some of the worst reliability ratings ever. Jeep Compass. The Jeep Compass is marketed as a rugged, off-road capable SUV, but in reality, it struggles to even survive city driving without expensive breakdowns. Jeep's 9-speed automatic transmission is one of the worst in the industry, causing rough shifting, stalling, and premature failures. The engine is underpowered and inefficient, struggling to move the SUV with any confidence. Build quality is another disaster. Owners report rattling interiors, failing electronics, and a touchscreen that freezes constantly. Even with regular maintenance, this SUV breaks down far too often, making it a financial drain. Why it's terrible? Unreliable transmission, poor build quality, and a weak engine make it a terrible buy. If you think that's bad, wait until you see what's next, an SUV that pretends to be sporty but falls apart faster than you can drive it off the lot. Hyundai Kona N-Line. Hyundai has made some great SUVs, but the Kona N-Line isn't one of them. Marketed as a sporty subcompact SUV with turbocharged performance, the reality is a cheaply built, unreliable, and uncomfortable mess. The dual-clutch transmission is one of the worst in any SUV, causing jerky shifts and stalling issues. Owners have also reported turbocharger failures within the first 50,000 miles, leading to costly repairs. Inside, the ride is stiff and uncomfortable, making daily driving a pain. To make matters worse, resale value is terrible, meaning you will take a major financial hit if you try to get rid of it. Why it's terrible? Turbo and transmission issues, stiff ride, and poor resale value make it a nightmare. But don't worry, it gets even worse. Our next SUV may look like a luxurious powerhouse, but it's actually one of the most overhyped disasters on the market. Land Rover Discovery Sport. The Land Rover Discovery Sport promises luxury and off-road capability, but what you really get is a never-ending stream of repair bills. Land Rover is known for horrible reliability, and the Discovery Sport is no exception. Frequent engine failures, suspension problems, and electrical glitches make this SUV a ticking time bomb. Even simple repairs cost a fortune, and dealerships are notorious for poor service and long wait times. Owners often dump these vehicles after a couple of years just to escape the endless expenses. Why it's terrible? One of the least reliable luxury SUVs, with constant breakdowns and outrageous repair costs. If you think luxury SUVs are bad, wait until you see an SUV that pretends to be fuel efficient, but is actually a money pit in disguise. Chevrolet Traverse. The Chevrolet Traverse is a mid-size SUV that fails in almost every major category. It suffers from poor fuel economy, transmission failures, and weak resale value, making it a horrible long-term investment. The biggest issue? Transmission failures that happen before 80,000 miles. Many owners have reported delayed shifting, slipping gears, and complete breakdowns. The interior quality is also disappointing, with cheap plastics that wear down quickly. Combine that with lackluster handling and poor fuel efficiency, and you have an SUV that is simply not worth the hassle. Why it's terrible. Transmission failures, poor fuel economy, and cheap build quality make it a bad purchase. If you are looking for a sporty SUV that delivers power and fun, stay far away from our next pick. It's a complete disappointment. Mitsubishi Outlander. The Mitsubishi Outlander might look like a solid SUV on paper, but in reality, it's an outdated, unreliable mess. The continuously variable transmission, CVT, is one of the worst in the industry, often failing before 100,000 miles. The engine is underpowered, making highway driving a struggle. Inside, the materials feel cheap, and the tech is outdated compared to competitors. To top it off, resale value is almost non-existent, meaning you will lose a fortune when you try to sell it. Why it's terrible. Terrible transmission, weak engine, and poor resale value make it a mistake to buy. But the worst offender of all? An SUV that has been on the market for years, yet still can't get anything right. Nissan Rogue. The Nissan Rogue is one of the best-selling SUVs, but that doesn't mean it's a good one. Behind its popularity is a history of reliability issues, poor performance, and disappointing build quality. The biggest problem: the terrible continuously variable transmission, CVT, which is known for overheating, slipping, and failing before 100,000 miles. The engine is underpowered, making acceleration painfully slow. Inside, the interior materials feel cheap, and the infotainment system is outdated. Even though Nissan has made small improvements, the Rogue remains one of the worst choices in its class. Why it's terrible. A weak engine, unreliable transmission, and poor interior quality make it a mistake to buy. Now that you know which SUVs to avoid, let's see what the experts say about their reliability. Consumer Reports. According to Consumer Reports, these 7 SUVs rank below average in reliability, owner satisfaction, and long-term durability. The Volkswagen Tiguan, Jeep Compass, and Nissan Rogue are consistently rated among the worst for mechanical failures, while the Land Rover Discovery Sport and Chevrolet Traverse have high repair costs and frequent breakdowns. The Hyundai Kona N-Line and Mitsubishi Outlander struggle with transmission problems and poor resale value. These SUVs have high repair costs, poor build quality, and major mechanical issues, making them some of the worst choices in 2025 to 26. If you want an SUV that lasts for years without draining your wallet on constant repairs, avoid these models at all costs. There are plenty of better options that offer reliability, performance, and long-term value. Do you own one of these SUVs? Have you had a bad experience with one? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates on the best and worst SUVs of 2025 to 26.